So it's a bit of a crazy story when you tell somebody you wrote JAMB 3 times to get into medicine and surgery in 2009 and then you drop out in 2013. Many of our parents used to believe that the pathway to success was get an education, go to school.
Yeah.
If you go to school, you will be successful.
Yeah.
There was no, that was true 50 years ago. The university did not directly promise you a financial outcome. The promise was go to school, come out, and you are ready.
It has failed.
Yes, and if that is not working, it's a failure. The purpose for education is to become a valuable contributor to society.
Okay.
Now, the key word there is valuable. If the education you receive did not make you a valuable contributor to society, the education, that education has failed. Yeah. So it's not be a case of, okay, this thing is no longer working. Can we redefine? Because what we are all doing right now is we are thinking of how to make lemonade from lemons. Yeah. Most of us go to school, we get a certificate, and then we realize that there's no road here. Then I start thinking of what else you can do. Yeah.
That's why doctors are working in the bank.
I mean, that doctor part.
Hello, welcome to the Game of Money podcast brought to you by Rep 360. My name is Martins, the Entertainer, and I'm so elated to be doing this with
Come
on, you see that? That's peace. And she's always coming like a masterpiece. Okay, today's conversation is one that you should sit back, relax, and get ready for.
Balance.
It's going to be heavy, explosive. Oh my goodness, sit back. Call your friends and tell your friends to call their friends because you need to be a part of this. And that is a very simple question. University education in Nigeria, financial wisdom or financial waste? Because we don't want to waste your time. I would immediately introduce you to the man of this particular moment. This is somebody who, when I say a controversial social media influencer, I wouldn't want to use that word, but really impactful. He has his ways, he has his perspectives, and to a reasonable extent, he has been very, very influential with those perspectives. He has a decent following across all socials, and this man is always ready to make sense. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about no other person but Alimi Sunday Oladapo, the one that you know as the Broda, the Broda. It's our brother today.
There's Broda.
There's a brother.
You put the DA there.
The DA. The Broda Dapo.
Yes.
Okay. So we have our brother, so we should not bother. But we know that this message will cut across borders.
Too much.
My brother.
Jump in.
My brother. Okay, one of his very interesting videos online is one that he talked about. Planes don't only bring people, they bring money. And that's very effective. Interestingly, that is also effective because he's not just doing it as a content. Remember, this man is the head of marketing of one of the fastest growing real estate transformative investment platforms in Africa. Take a look at this. Do you need to turn 360 to see?
You don't need to turn 360 to see Rep 360.
You can see from one direction. And that is the transparency of this company. From one direction, you're already seeing transparency and accountability. And my brother here is the head of marketing of this reputable real estate company.
Thank you.
My brother.
Let's jump in. Why do you want?
Thank you very much.
I learned that you wanted to be a medical practitioner. As at 2013. In industry now, there was a change. I don't know. It was inspiration. What happened? Because I know that Nigeria can change. Nigeria can change vision. If you study banking and finance, you can have POS business.
Yes.
People are still banking on.
There's nothing that Nigeria cannot do.
You understand? So talk to us.
Okay, so I actually got into medicine and surgery in 2009.
Come on.
I left high school in 2006.
Come on.
So I wrote jam 3 times, like jam me 2 times before I got to the 3rd time. So it's a bit of a crazy story when you tell somebody you wrote jam 3 times to get into medicine and surgery in 2009 and then you drop out in 2013.
Oh my goodness.
So, but what actually happened was I lost interest in becoming a medical doctor in 2013.
Why?
I think I was attracted by the prestige of doctor as at the time. And I was this kind of person that once my mind is set on something, I would just start buying everything that is related to that subject. So I was buying magazines, I was buying books. That was way before I got into. I was immersed. So I literally thought, no. Then 2020, I started noticing the trend from like 2012 because that was when we got into 200 level.
Okay.
And then by 2013, I was disillusioned with the whole thing.
Wow.
And I think that it was also contributed to by the living experience that we had then, because I was in College of Medicine, University of Lagos. Wow. That was where I was. And I'm like...
The environment,
where
prestige,
and then I asked myself, like, so wait, you mean at the end of it that we finish this thing and then I will have to be seeing like sick faces every day depending on where I am? Like, how will I be sure that the depression of having to help somebody come out of will not eventually transfer to me? So I was just like, no. So what actually happened was, it wasn't like I dropped out. I failed out of the course.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and to make things worse, I was the class governor of my department.
You lost interest.
Yeah. So imagine being class governor, very famous on campus, and then you are repeating. You're repeating 200 level when your other guys are going to 300 level.
Was what made you feel like I can't continue.
So somehow. as at that time, and I think there's this thing with we young people. You know this thing where we used to say that you say they gave you the results. More like
you didn't acknowledge that you earned it.
Yes, you didn't acknowledge that you earned
when
it.
you pass, I did well.
Because as at that point in my life, I was confused. But I was not aware that I was confused. Wow. I just knew that the interest was dropping and dropping and dropping, and I was not really making any extra effort
to sustain it.
Like my guys will go to class, 1 o'clock, mosquito go bite them, they will carry lamp, go read. Me, I go just sleep. I'm like, Doctor, alone, me, please, I cannot keep myself. So the effort was not there. And so when the results eventually came, I was shocked but not shocked. And then eventually I was just like,
easy your cue.
Yeah. So I just
for me it's very, very I have a sort of different story. I did science lab tech, and then I had to be an intern. I was an intern. You had to do IT in the either hospital or NAFDAC or like a laboratory. So I got into NAFDAC. I was in NAFDAC in Yaba. I went to the HOD for orientation, went to Yaba. By the time I did 3 months there, I knew I cannot be. I said, is this is like lab work? I have to be inside like lab. The building. I don't step out. For a long time. Like this is not, it does not fit me. I don't talk to anybody. I'm not there's nobody to react to relate with as I was. Yes. So it was more like after 3 months I just told myself, I told him another, I want to try somewhere else, because I just felt like I can't see a future here, which is the idea of internship, for you to see how it will play out. So I then went into medical laboratory. I went to work in a lab testing place attached to a hospital. And then I was drawing blood and all of that. And by the time I finished the 1 year then, I was like, you see, science lab tech is a very important course, but it's like, this is not what you are wired to do. Yeah, drawing blood. You tie the hand, you draw the blood, you do the test. I was doing everything, and I realized that this isn't what I was wired to do. Thankfully, I done my OND. So we're going back. Was like, okay, are we going to do? I went back to Cybertech and I told them, I said I didn't want to do SLT again. I want to do mass communication, and like it's like a far distance. But at that point, I already sort of felt like this is where you should be in. Yes, and there should be room for that level of flexibility. And that's why your story is important, because when we discuss and I hear your story, for me it's like, okay, is education is it financial wisdom, or is just this financial waste? Because in diaspora, if you are complaining about education in Nigeria, you have no idea. Go and study in America or study in the UK.
Why'd you say so?
Because the school fees is huge. Okay. The average student in America is indebted. You spend 4 years going through university and you end up being indebted, and you spend like 10 years after graduation paying off your school debt. And some don't actually do it. Wow. That's the beginning of the end of their life. So there's a conversation to be had here, and it's a very crucial one. But I want to talk about your background and the impact of background in financial success. Let's take it away from education because many people go into school as a means to have financial freedom. But if the background of the family is not right, how does that affect?
Okay, so the reason why I am very, very particularly obsessed with the subject of background or environment is because you tend to interpret reality based on what you see around you. If you lived all your life in a village and everybody is acting one kind, you don't know that you can't know that you are mad if you are living in the midst of mad people. So it is when you step out and you see how other people are doing things that you know that there is a problem here. So most of the information, most of our worldview, most of our beliefs, like the entire software on how we should live our lives comes from our background. Nobody the system is self-replicating, self-sustaining. So when you're there, whatever they tell you is what you believe, and then you run with that. And so if you're coming from a background that has some very weird ideas, or should I say outdated ideas about what makes a person successful and how the education is related to that, is going to bleed into your choices. And so, for example, I'll give an example. So many of our parents used to believe that the pathway to success was get an education, go to school. If you go to school, you will be successful. There was that was true 50 years ago when they were still begging people to go to school. And the economy needed a lot of professionals to fill different roles in the economy.
School has a different meaning.
You get so this now there's a lot has changed. But many of our parents are stuck in the past, and so they pass that belief. They pass it to their children, and so the children to just go into the university. How many people actually go into the university knowing exactly what they want out of life?
True.
No, very few. As almost nobody actually, because we're still growing. You enter university at like averagely 17 or 18.
Yes.
So what do you know about life at 17 or 18? And the school system then was producing workers for an industrial age that no longer exists. So right now, the school system needs to rethink how it is feeding that age. But when it comes to background, as you were talking, it occurred to me something. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Why? My dad's an entrepreneur, mom's an entrepreneur, my uncle entrepreneur. Like everybody that I knew that was successful when I was growing up were all entrepreneurs. I did not, my background did not show me bank CEOs as uncles or aunties or successful career professionals. The people I saw that had their house, were driving big cars, they had businesses. So my only thought was, if I want to make money, I'm going to have my own business. As an adult though, after doing business and business was doing me boost, when business was showing me pepper and I was trying to make pepper soup, suya, and it was not balancing, I now started seeing other people's wealth model and realized that I was going at a very tough path. I was going through a tougher journey. I didn't see the hustle. I saw the luxury of entrepreneurship. I now started analyzing career professionals, and I was now seeing their sort of hustle and seeing their luxury. And it occurred to me that, wow,
it's possible here.
There are other options. And it is important for us to consider those other options as well, which brings us to the next question.
I love trust. I mean, who don't want to hear words like, don't worry, I trust you. But in business, it will do you like a bad dream. In short, it will do you like fame. You would think it's village people safe. When a client comes to you saying, don't worry, I trust you, especially when this is their first business with you, you are smiling and nodding. In your mind, you have won, Abby. Fast forward to 3 weeks. Let's say there's one issue, delay, or small misunderstanding. Guess who they'll be dragging? Not the government, not the developer. You, the agent that they trusted. Some will even go as far as taking a screenshot of your profile and dragging you on social media. You see, I've learned something. I love a client who asks too many questions. Just stress me small. Call me by 11 p.m. and ask me what freehold means. On the flip side, these plenty questions have helped me grow and sharpen my clarity. It has also boosted my growth in the real estate space. Sometimes, after overwhelming them with so much information, I beg them to go and think about it, or even inform a lawyer if need be. So when they are coming back, they are coming ready. And in business, let's make sure we don't collect money from people until they understand what they are paying for. Because trust is not enough. Clarity is important. Don't be quick to celebrate quiet answer. If you'd love to learn more or be part of the team of realtors, comment value, test wealth.
So, Brother Dapo, you talked about, you said some things about background, and that reminds me of one of your perspectives about poor and average families set their children for failure automatically. Why do you believe so?
Okay, so this particular one, Okay, so there are two major issues that I have with poor and middle class backgrounds. So let me not say family, so it does not look like it's a personal attack.
All right.
So the first issue is that people who come or people who make up poor and middle class families usually think that big title is equal to big money.
Okay.
That's problem number one. It's one of the reasons why you hear things like, go to school, study hard, become a doctor, become an engineer, become titles.
Okay.
So poor and middle class families. Now, again, these things were true years ago. 50 years ago.
For you to get there,
yes. So it was true that, if you become an engineer, if you become a doctor, if you become a lawyer or stuff like that, you are made. But that is no longer true. But that belief is still there. Okay. And so they still think that big title, once you get the title, you'll start making good money, which we all know that is not true right now. Then the second issue is that they pretend that money is not important. So when people go to school, if you question some graduates, when they are talking, they seem to have a problem with accepting that I went to school because I want to make money. So they start saying things like, we go to school to acquire knowledge, like trying to kind of like couch sugarcoat it so that they don't look like, maybe this person is too materialistic.
One time, 400 million versus first class.
So people virtue signal a lot when it comes to that, and that is the basis for failure already. Because if you do not accept that the reason we go to school is to make money, is to become
viable.
Yes, so that we can perform our role.
What do you use now?
Commercially viable.
Yeah,
it becomes
that's the summary of it.
Yes, it becomes an issue. And then you now have people who have these certificates and everything, and deep inside them, because of the amount of time and effort that they have put into acquiring those things, which is something we call the sunk cost fallacy, they don't want to accept that this thing is worthless. So anytime somebody speaks against the fact that this thing is not making as much sense as they told us, you see people will start attacking you in the comment section. Yet, if something goes wrong tomorrow and they need financial help, it is the rich people who didn't bother too much about credentials and just went straight for what matter that they'll be calling to help
your
them.
uncle in Alaba.
So that's the issue.
What do you believe the real purpose of education should be? She already alluded that it's about money. Is it just purely about money, or are there other things that are backing up the purpose for education?
Okay, so now that's a good question. To put it in a less, or should I say in a more civil manner, so that people can easily digest it. The purpose for education is to become a valuable contributor to society.
Okay.
Now, the key word there is valuable.
And that value is
Value in the sense that you have something that you can offer and that you can be paid for.
Good.
Yeah.
So it's shared value.
Once you are valuable, money follows.
Yes.
So you get education so that you can increase
your value. So that you can get
when you get increased value, you get money. So it's not like education.
That's the equation.
That's the equation. So now that now becomes the metric via which you judge education. If the education you receive did not make you a valuable contributor to society, the education,
to bring you money.
The education has failed.
Which is why I've heard you talk about low value courses. So when you say
low value courses,
low value courses, and I've actually also met someone that when the person told me the course they are doing, I felt like, hello, you are in
Give me an example of
University of Ilorin, and you are studying, he's a lab technician, but what he studied, I said, what have you been studying? You have spent 3 years. He said, how to arrange chemicals. Like, chemicals are volatile, and so you must know how to arrange them. In my head, I was like, so you now spend 4 years to learn how to. So when you now, like, what's the height of income you can earn from knowing how to address and arrange chemicals in a laboratory? Not that you are the one using it you're like a keeper of chemicals within a laboratory.
The preventer of chaos.
It probably is an important, I don't know, maybe if you are in Norway and you are living in a country where they are doing a lot of science experiments, you can be a useful lab technician protecting the chemicals for the lab, the experimenters. But it didn't make any sense to spend 4 years to do that. For me, that was a low value course. But I know that Dapo has more examples of low value. Low value courses that are wasting people's time.
Examples.
Okay,
and what does it really mean?
So let us, so that we can balance it. Something can be valuable here and not be valuable there. So we must be careful about that. Now, low value means that there is low market demand. So it does not necessarily mean that
useless.
It is useless. It just means that in the economy where you find yourself, there is no priority for that stuff. And I will give you several examples. Zoology, botany.
Somebody say the country is already like it. Okay, go.
Something like, I know people are going to be sentimental about this one, but because the point is to go to school, get a skill that you can exchange, and then come out, and you should be ready
for work.
If we are not judging it by that metric,
your value,
brings. If you still have to be adding something, you need to have backup plan. So probably other examples would be you are doing Yoruba education. Again, our language is important. It's not bad. But how much demand?
There's no work. There's work for Yoruba education. Let me counter that a bit. There might be work for Yoruba education. It's not going to be a case of you will need to think about the value. How valuable can I make Yoruba education to the extent with which I can make money from it? Because whatever you're doing, you need to think about how this education, I'm enrolling for a course. I go and study botany. There can be 50 people in class with me, but one person will sit down and say, okay, these animals we are studying, how can I make money from it? They teach us how to study this thing, but they don't teach us how we can make money from it. So you can now start looking at, ecological friendly, Nigeria is losing lots of animals and all of that. So you're able to start changing how we look at the education. But most of the time we just go to school to go and get certificates because like Dapo just said, is that when I get a certificate, I'm a graduate. So automatically, being a graduate does not command you financial resources. You can be a graduate, first class holder, and broke. And we have several of them. So it just means that we have just gotten a certification without the actual practical knowledge that you can use to convert that knowledge to cash.
We're not taught to even question status quo.
Can I say something too? Can I
disagree and agree?
So it may not be a core disagreement. It might just be like, I don't know, maybe a commentary or something. Now, unfortunately, you cannot hold universities red-handed like this and say you people scammed us. Because the university did not directly promise you a financial outcome. That's where it becomes a gray area. They only promised you knowledge. But the underlying
Should we yab them for doing that? Should we call them out? Universities
can be a dragon.
So don't worry.
Drag them.
That's how we're going to do that later. But the underlying understanding is that if you go to the university, you are coming out as somebody who is ready for the economy. Now, it did not say if you go to the university, you now have to now start thinking of how to add something or how to now start bringing your own unique. You see all those other things that you are adding. It is you that is now using your own initiative based on your understanding of your environment to tweak that. So I am not really a fan of the let us see how we can start thinking of how we can do something with what we have been given. No. The promise was go to school, come out, and you are ready.
It has failed.
Yes. And if that is not working, it's a failure. Yeah. So it's not be a case of, okay, this thing is no longer working. Can we redefine? Because what we're all doing right now is we're thinking of how to make lemonade from lemons. Yeah. Most of us go to school, we get a certificate, and then we realize that there's no road here. Then I start thinking of what else you can do too.
That's why doctors are working in a bank.
That doctor part. I have many of my friends that. So I think that if I were to take a census today, and massive respect to all my colleagues who finished medicine, I think that a significant percentage of them have left Nigeria. They have jackpot and
those that finished.
Yes, those that finished. A significant number of them have left Nigeria. Now, think about it. Somebody went through 6 years of medical under harsh conditions, and now I'm sure it probably is worse right now because what we endured then, and then with this whole ASU strike now came in, those months probably had it worse. And then you come out of all of that. I've heard cases of them using torchlight to attend to patients because accident and emergency ward did not have light and all of that. And go through all of that. And then at the end of the day, they just vamoose abroad. The country has lost because, yes, the education was partly subsidized and all that, but the user experience is terrible. The prospects, we had house officers that were going on strike over 120,000 naira. Come on now. When are we, you don't get... So let me cut that one right here.
Okay, so with everything you know right now,
if I say the matter touch you,
no, I was thinking of that doctor in bank. So is it medical finance you want to, or healing streams? So okay, so I'm saying that with everything you know right now, okay, what would you have done differently? Or what would you do differently
if I was a parent?
Yeah.
Number one, when my child graduates from secondary school, he will first stay 2 years without going to the university.
Why?
So the thing is, at the end of the we're now living in an economy that is hyper focused on skill. What can you do with your brain and your hands? And I know that if I send this person to the university in Nigeria, let me not say, I have money, I want to fly them abroad. That is a different case. Let us use Nigeria. I'm not sending them anywhere. They are going to be in this country. First question I'm going to ask myself as a parent is, what is the economic value of whatever degree he's going to acquire in that university after 4 or 6 years? How much will he be able to earn in his first 2 years of working?
Living in Nigeria.
Yes, after. If it's not, I already know it's not going to make much sense. So the first thing I'm going to do as a parent is, okay, what other areas of interest does this child currently have? Yes. What do they have right now? Thank God, I would have said, okay, first send them to computer school. But I feel like maybe these days now, because we did that. And that was good back then. Because it helped us. Yes, Mavis Bacon, Google stuff.
The computer school now is AI.
Yes, and I might even still send them to computer school first. Okay. Because if you have Google Workplace skills right now.
You're more commercially
you're more commercially viable. You're more useful.
Graduates that studied business administration.
And cannot work with spreadsheets. Cannot work with documents.
If you have certifications in Google Workspace, you would get work before biz admin graduate that does not know how to use this.
Yes.
And that's the reality of our world today. The educational system is changing. I might not agree with sitting down for 2 years though.
It's just an example.
Yeah, I would say that even before you graduate from secondary school, you should be having conversations with your children about the viability of the courses they are considering. And the parents should not just tell their children, do this course. It is a conversation about the economic value of the course you're doing.
What is a conversation?
Yes.
What's the economic value? What would you want to do? What do you want to do when you finish this? So that we don't just go and mark register in university. Because many people in university now are just marking register. I resumed today. I finished with 2-1. So you don't. I don't owe you anything. The world doesn't owe you anything. You still need to produce something. So let's have those conversations before we spend 4 years on the matter. But let me ask you: if a young person is watching this podcast now and this game of money, so it's about money, and the person is confused about, they feel lost. They feel like I've missed it. War. This course does not make sense, or this thing is not going on. What would you tell the person to do immediately?
Okay, now that brings me to the secondary value of going to the university.
Okay.
There is the primary value, which is to make you economically viable. There is the secondary value, which is to make you socially competent. So many of us that are going to university, or many of us that went to university right now, the secondary benefit of it was that we learned how to collaborate with people. We learned how to resolve problems. We learned how to be independent. In secondary school, especially for most of us who went to day school,
you go from home.
Yeah, our behavior and thinking we're given rules and regulations and all of that. And whether you kept them or not is inconsequential, because if you don't keep them, your parents will probably bear the consequences anyway. But in university, if you do anything stupid, it is going to be on your head. So you learn how to manage independence in the university. So I wouldn't say, you entered the course. Now you're not hearing me. I am not like, hey, finish the course. Because of the other benefits that are associated.
Build relationships.
Yes. Finish the course. Maybe I should say finish the course if you can. Because then there are levels of disillusionment. There are some disillusionments that, like the one I had, that one, there is nothing you want to do. There's no way
if you finish in first class, no matter how much we downgrade education or miseducation, having a first class puts you in a different class.
Yes. But that's true now.
That's totally
no, that is true.
Because they would, even if they are looking at everybody else, they would look at you differently. But you see that thing you said, the secondary value of education is too important, and we don't educate people.
Yes, there is money for me.
So
now.
Yes.
In the absence of
Mariah says that one of the things she misses because she studied in the US is that she does not have school fellow graduates that say fellow Ife. My husband will be like, this guy UI, we met in UI, and they're talking over 20 years ago, and they're able to leverage relationship, get deals because we were UI together, Unilag together. See the clique of them, Baby Face and all of those people that were in Unilag at that time. They have the clique, and they still have them till now. Cliques. Because we all were in school together. Correct. That is secondary value that people should get. So if you're in school right now, money is locked in that your classroom, because you are with the future governor, future minister, make friends from widely with everybody. Walks of life that are coming there too.
Social value.
Social
value. And social capital. Social capital is amazing. Okay. For me, if I want to check everything, I think I would say that even when you talk about the commercial value, the social value has a strong way that it gives you that commercial value.
Yeah,
look at social media. So I have a question for you, and that question is about your perspective that talks about be your own boss. With the economic pressures right now, would you advise everybody to start their own business?
You see this matter we just opened. It's another episode on its own, but I would summarize as much as I can.
Please do.
So there was an era, I think about 15, 20 years ago, when the be your own boss fever caught on. And I think it probably had a bit to do with many of us Nigerians now realizing that a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad was in existence. Yeah, so the book, it was making waves, and then also as at that time, and maybe because there was also a boom of multi-level marketing companies. at that time. And so them GNLD and all the rest, Tansley and all the rest of them. So be your own boss or start your own business. Yes, was glamorized.
Okay.
And everybody thought that the pathway to becoming free financially was to start a business. And so if you were, in fact, it was essentially saying that if you were a salary earner or if you were an employee, you are a slave. Now it took about yes. And so, and see, deception works very well if you can instigate hatred. So if you could make them hate their bosses, hate their jobs, then you can make them see this other one as the, you know, and then thanks to social media, you see entrepreneurs come online, they're looking dapper, they're looking all, glammed up and everything. They will never show you the behind the scenes when everything is, yes. So, but right now I have come to a place where I've come to understand that, if you're going to start a business is something that you start because you want more. A business is not something you start because you have nothing. Let me say that again. A business is something you start because you want more. You don't start a business because you have nothing. So you have graduates who don't have any experience. They've never worked for anyone. They don't know what structure looks like. They don't know what it is like to work in an organized, environment. And they just jump straight into business. So freedom can become your downfall if you don't have the maturity to handle it. And so you give people the freedom of being able to make their own decisions and bear all the consequences by themselves. Nobody's clapping for them. Nobody's encouraging them. Nobody's keeping them on the line. They answer to themselves. Many people have a problem with answering to themselves.
Freedom becomes prison.
Yes. So the freedom becomes the prison. And so they start the business, and to make matters worse, many of them don't even have any business training. So just feel like, this product or this service or something, bam, they start. And then they struggle, they pull, they try to do everything, it's not working. But inside their head, they still hate their boss. Because they've been told that if you work for somebody, you are a slave.
But you later need people to work for you.
But now, people are now realizing that. And then if you were the person that came out then and said something like, but all of us cannot be employees now, they will insult you. But now people understand that the knowledge and the skill that you need in order to start your own business and succeed is in the place. So if you cannot be a good follower, you cannot be a good leader now.
If you cannot be a good follower, you cannot be a good leader. And the knowledge needed to have your own thing, do your own thing, is in the place of serving.
Absolutely.
And that also leads us to reminding you that, of course, we have a particular conference for you that addresses how you can build wealth from serving as a salary earner. In fact, while you're serving, you are earning in different ways. You're earning financially, you are earning in terms of knowledge and more. Dr. Lumide Emmanuel, the Common Sense Guru, says that a salary earner or an employee is paid times 3 of what they think they are paid. Because when you calculate the cost of being there, working there, the chair, the laptop you are using, the space you're occupying, you will see that the employer is paying times 3. Thank God for a time now where people can work remotely and all of that.
Yes.
So you don't want to miss that conference. It's on the 9th of May this year, 2026. You don't want to miss it. You should. How to build wealth with your salary. You must be there. But register in time so that you don't miss it. Then, of course, don't forget to follow us on all our socials. The Game of Money series. My name has not changed. It is Martins, the Extrainer. And the beautiful, elegant
Tokwe Mark Odige TMO. Thank you all so much for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, share if this connects with any of your thoughts. It's always a pleasure being here. Broda, thank you for dropping the bombs and breaking the tables.
Merci beaucoup. All right, don't forget, always remember, money is a game. Know the rules or
stay broke.
It's as simple as that. Know the rules or stay broke. I like that.
Yeah.
So I'm changing